Let's look at the process of converting a pseudocode into a working C code. A pseudocode is nothing but the algorithmic description of a problem. For supposing here, we have the pseudocode for bubble sort. Bubble sort is a sorting technique which takes in an unsorted array and it sorts the elements in the increasing order. And this is the logic which is required to implement bubble sort. Now, a pseudocode is not specific to any programming language. In fact, you can use the logic which is presented in the pseudocode to construct the code in any particular language that you want to. For supposing this pseudocode here, I can write a C program, or I can write a Python program, or I can write a Java program. It's one and the same. The pseudocode is never going to change. All you need to worry about is the syntaxes which are specific to a particular language. Okay, now let us see the process to convert this pseudocode into a working C code. Now every pseudocode is going to start with the name algorithm, the name of the problem that we want to solve. Here it is bubble sort, and the important parameters that bubble sort takes. So the first parameter that bubble sort takes is list, which is nothing but the array, and the second parameter that it takes is n, which is the number of elements in the array. As you can see, this problem is much more generic because this is going to work for any value of n. For simplicity, I'm just going to consider n as 10. So we can start writing our code. So we write main int list of 10 equals, let me initialize it. So that's step number one. Have your array. And then as you can see, it also uses n. And I told that n takes the value 10, which is evidenced by this one here. So it's one and the same. I cannot write list of n. Instead, I have to write list of 10 and say n equals to 10. Okay. Now the next step is we have the loop here. It says for I gets 1 to n minus 1 do. What this statement means is for I equals to 1, which is this one here, and it goes up to n minus 1. So I less than or equals to n minus 1 and I plus plus. As you can see in the pseudocode, we are not aware of how the I is getting modified. Is I being incremented by 1? Is it being decremented by 1 or incremented by 2 or something else? But in pseudocodes, it's by default I plus plus. So if you're going from a lower number to a higher number, we do I plus plus automatically. And if you're going from a higher number to a lower number, we do I minus minus. In this case, it is obviously I plus plus. Open the block. Now go for the next loop. It says for j gets 0 to n minus 2 do. So it is for j equals to 0, j less than or equals to n minus 2, and j plus plus. Open the block. Next, you have the if condition, which says if list of j is greater than list of j plus 1. So I can write the if as if list of j is greater than list of j plus 1. Now there are a couple of things that you need to understand here. You can see that list of j is written using round brackets here. But remember, in C, if you want to reference an array element, you have to use square brackets. So again, as I mentioned before, the pseudocode can be converted into any programming language. You just have to follow the syntax in that particular language. Open the if block. Now within the if block, you have swap list of j comma list of j plus 1. So all this statement is saying that I want to swap the contents of list of j and list of j plus 1. So list of j should sit in list of j plus 1 and list of j plus 1 should sit in list of j. Now in pseudocodes, you're typically not given the code for swap logic or display logic. So it is upon the user to write his or her own code for swap or display or something else. You're just worried about the high level problem description. So let's write the logic for swap. Now I have to make sure that, in fact I forgot, but I have to declare I and I have to declare j. So int I comma j, and for swap I'm going to declare another variable called temp. Now let's write the logic for swap. Temp equals list of j equals list of j plus 1, list of j plus 1 equals temp. So that's the logic for swap. Close the if bracket, close the inner for loop bracket, and close the outer for loop bracket. So we have already closed the if block, close the inner for, close the outer for. That's it. Now we can add a few more things for our convenience. Now if I want to see the sorted array, I need to have printf for I equals to 0. I'm going to go through the entire array. I less than or equals to n minus 1, I plus plus, printf percentile d, comma list of I, and return 0 and exit the program. Now, if you implemented the algorithm correctly, so if all these steps are correct, then when you print the sorted array, you should see the array sorted in the increasing order. So your output should be the least value should go on to the leftmost side, which is minus 34, followed so on, and the highest value should be on the rightmost side, which is 101. So this is the process to convert a pseudocode into a working C code.